person serving right there. You know, it's like bigger than a softball. Ugali is a primary source of their nutrition, and all it is starch. It's just calories, and they use it not only for food, but that's their utensil, which I'm sure Kim was. It's a lovely sight to see people taking a lot of that stuff and they dip up their food with that. It's when you eat like that, it's after you eat, you wash your hands. It's pretty messy, but I was not a big fan of ugali. That's what I ate, which is goat stew and the bread, kind of like a thick tortilla. One of the other people had a tilapia from Lake Victoria, and they're big fish, and that's the way they serve it. You know, the head to tail, everything. And when they get through, it's going to look like this. I mean, that includes the head and everything. And I wondered, last time I was there, I saw that too, and I wondered if they were just doing that to be silly or look macho or something. But no, it's because a lot of those people grew up at times when they were hungry and they had to eat every little bite on that fish, and they still do eat every bit they can get to. That's lunch out of the orphanage, and do you know the name of that, Kim?
We call it Githeri.
What?
Githeri.
Githeri? Okay. It's just basically corn and beans.
Really hard.
Yeah. And the kids really seem to like that. Yeah. This was another one out of the orphanage. The brown stuff is brown ugali. It has sorghum in it and sometimes cassava. But the other little things are minnows, dried minnows. And so that was their source of protein and carbs right there. And they seem to wolf that right down. That's some of the kids alongside the road. We bought some bananas and they were really tasty right off the tree. Parts of Kenya are just beautiful. And this is out toward the Rift Valley, west of Nairobi. But then you get out closer to where we were working, and you notice in Kenya it's a real agricultural economy, agriculturally based, and the places that are more advanced agriculture, you can tell are a lot more prosperous, nicer houses, bigger fields, everything just looks better. But out there in far western Kenya, you still see this. There's 3 guys, 6 steers, and one little bitty plow tilling the ground. And this is something else that you see out there still, but not as much as before, because lots and lots of these houses are being replaced with a tin roof. So that is a change. You know, that signifies they're getting a little bit of money from somewhere in order to do that. But you can see in this photograph, the house on the left, right below the bottom right corner of it is a fairly fresh grave. And that's their practice there, is to, when somebody dies in the family, they bury them in their yard. And usually it's unmarked as well. that's the people out digging little pits and planting corn and beans, all by hand. This is a police roadblock along the highway, and the stripes across there are a speed bump. And some of these fairly nice smooth highways will just have these speed bumps that sneak up on you, and some of them are really big bumps. So that's their speed control. Instead of they don't really have traffic police out there except these roadblocks that just check papers and so forth. They call these tuk trucks that cart people around. This is actually on a tea plantation. That's the housing for the workers, and you know, tea is a real high labor crop. It takes a lot of hand labor picking those leaves daily, and you can also see that the houses are much nicer than most of the houses out in the country, even though they are kind of bunched up together. It's those people are probably making more money. That's sugar cane being harvested in there. There is a tractor. Once in a while you'd see one. We got driving down a road through one of those little villages. We got right in the middle of a funeral, and the person must have been real well known. There were 4 buses full of people that they loaded up, and then a whole string of cars, and then at least 200 of these ladies walking in this big old group. And the deceased is up there in that van with the loudspeakers, and the music was blaring, and a guy was way up in the front with a drum, and the people up in front were dancing, and they do this all the way to that person's house, and then they buried them there at their home, and then the family has to feed everybody. So, and for as long as they want to stay, which might be a day or so. So it can be a really expensive proposition for the family. That's the first well that we drilled when Floyd and I went over there, and we drove by it. I was hoping I'd get back and be able to show that to Floyd, but you can see it's well used. There's 3 little trails going to it, and lots of people are getting water there. That's the little church that we went to on a Sunday morning. Okay, that was quite interesting. Their music. They don't have any instruments, but they just get up. It's all a cappella, and one person would lead it for a while, and then they switch off to another one, and that was probably the quietest song that I taped. That was the first one, and they got progressively louder and more active. Okay, this is Tom's. It's Connect with a Child Children's Center there in Nairobi, and it's right down close to Korgocho slum, and there's about 40 or 50 that are orphans who live there all the time, and then during the days there's almost 400 more, so it goes up to something like 420 or 30 kids there on weekdays that they have school classes, plus they feed them, which is one of the big reasons those kids come out of the slums too. But that's been there for several years, and Tom has, that's one of the classrooms inside it. And those are the nicest, most polite kids. When I walk into the classroom, they'd all stand up and I can't imitate it, you know, they speak with a little British accent, but it's, hello, how are you? And it's a neat group of kids, but they have over 400 of them in that building during the day. This is where the kids that live there wash their clothes out behind the building. That's some of the girls that live there in their room. That's some of the little boys that were out, and they don't have a playground except for this little concrete area out there with one slide on it. But there's not any room around there. You know, the whole area is just built up with other buildings, and there's no grass for them to go out and play on, and it's just kind of cramped. But at least it's a safe place for them to come, and they get fed, and they're well taken care of there. That's a couple of the little girls. They were so quiet in their classrooms, and I went into, these are 4 and 5-year-olds, I went in their classroom and they're just quiet as a mouse, you know, and talk to their teacher. And then I was back out in they have a big room, and when they have a break, they let the kids go down there. And these kids just swarmed to me when they had their break, like flies on something. But I had on a short sleeve shirt, and I guess I was the only white person they'd ever touched, and they kept coming up and rubbing my arms, and they would just laugh. But it's a cute bunch of kids. That's the restroom in that building, and as you can see, that's the more traditional African style. That's some of the boys that live there in the house, and down at the end were a couple of their teachers. Okay, we didn't spend anything at the Children's Center there in Nairobi. I want to point out all the stuff that we spend money for, and one of them was this right here. This building had already been built. This is out at the orphanage near Siaya, and we concreted the floor in that. They did that while I was there, and that was I think about $1,500 for that, which I thought was really cheap. Yeah, it was right about $1,500. And they do all this stuff by hand. And I kept thinking about how in the U.S., you know, we call a truck and we would have all these machines that do that handwork. But then, what would all these guys do for a living if machines replaced what they could do? So they don't earn very much money, but it is a job. That's the inside. They had spread sand out there and leveled that before they started. And this is while they were mixing the concrete and put it in there. It looks a little rough right there, but it actually turned out really well, I thought. When they finished, it had a real nice finish. Let me see if I can go back to that. Guess not. But that room that they did is going to be the library, and it's it's also going to be a multi-purpose room for the orphanage. And this is one of the girls at the orphanage when they were having lunch one day. That's some of the little boys out there. And as you can see, most of the buildings out there are older. These are part of the kids. They gathered up there and sang a song. This little boy's name was Shadrach. He's a 3rd grader. And was just quite personable. He's such a cute little guy. That's in one of the classrooms. There's only about 30 kids out there at that orphanage. And there's 4 teachers and then a headmaster. So they're divided up into pretty small groups, which is nice. But you know, this lady is one of the teachers and in her class, and they're very dedicated and very loving. These kids are all total orphans. They have no help. So they are getting the attention they need and the food, and they're being taken care of. We had a little party for them one day and brought them all sodas and these little buns, and gave them a couple of pencils and a couple of lifesavers, and then we also gave out those shoes that grow. Oh, and Amy and Diane sent a bunch of books, and they were just tickled to see those books, and they were putting on some of the little shoes that they got. But we're looking forward to maybe being able to see that library get a lot more books in it someday in the future.